is 9 News Local.
Good evening, I'm Natassia. Soper. School holidays may be coming to an end, but residents in former red zones are now booking trips and packing their bags as the Queensland Premier announces changes to its hard border closure. Let's go live to reporter Will Murray with the details. Will, when will it come into effect?
Well, the hard border will open from Monday, Tash, which means people in those red zones, which is Greater Sydney and Wollongong, will once again be allowed into the Sunshine State. Now, for those of us outside it means we can head north without having to think about things like permits or without having to factor in hours of queuing. Now, the announcement comes after yesterday New South Wales reached the magic mark of 10 days without a case of community transmission. Now, that border has been closed since December 21st, and Queensland Premier Natassia said that it had placed an enormous strain on her state's tourism industry, which is normally busy during the summer school holiday period. Now, Tash, the 10-day streak has also prompted the South Australian government to open its borders to people within the red zones, and that comes into effect on Sunday.
Well, thank you. It can't come soon enough. The owners of a popular dry cleaning business in Nowra are unsure if they'll ever be able to rebuild after fire tore through the property overnight. Investigators still don't know what sparked the blaze, but say the incident is not suspicious.
Fire trucks lighting up Nowra's CBD in the dead of night as flames take hold of Lyrebird Dry Cleaners on Kinghorn Street. Arriving at 1:30am, over 50 firefighters desperately tried to gain control, flames threatening neighbouring businesses and residents above.
There was concerns for people's safety, not so much in the commercial premises because we knew they should be vacant, but more so the people that were living upstairs.
Thankfully, they were brought to safety. Down below, it took over 3 hours for crews to put out the blaze, the aftermath leaving the owners in disbelief.
A little bit shocked because we didn't expect it to be this bad.
Thick black smoke ripped through nearby businesses, shutting them down.
We've been told we'll probably roughly be closed for a week.
Police and fire investigators spent the morning tracing its ignition point.
Fire had been pent up and locked up inside the premises for possibly quite a few hours.
Acceleration detection dog Xando was brought in to sniff out the cause. Still no evidence to suggest it was deliberately lit.
Really devastating. Not knowing how it started is frustrating.
To rebuild from the rubble, it would cost about $1 million. The damage almost a write-off, leaving the owners of this dry cleaning business with a tough decision to make.
To all the people that have things in here, it's really sad and I'm sorry, especially with the wedding dresses.
Caitlin Stedman, 9 News.
A 67-year-old man has died after being trapped underneath a car in Junee this morning. It's understood the man opened the door of his garage around 6:30 when his vehicle rolled and pinned him underneath. Police are still investigating. A B-double has lost control after driving over a puddle of diesel in the Central West this afternoon, causing it to jackknife and damage its fuel tank. Traffic was bumper to bumper down the Mitchell Highway as crews worked to clean up the mess. Lanes have since been reopened. Luckily, no one was injured. The family of Filipino woman Melody Bruno will have to wait another month until they learn the punishment for the man who killed her in 2019. Facing court today, Ryan Toya's defence team argued her death was an accident and the result of an act they both consented to.
Ryan Toya entered court this morning expecting to learn his fate for the manslaughter of transgender woman Melody Bruno. Toya admitted he choked Ms Bruno to death at a unit on Tarcutta Street in Wagga on September 21st, 2019. As Ms Bruno's family watched on from the Philippines via video link, He told the court her death was a result of a terrible accident during sex, saying we had done it a couple of times previously. The first time she grabbed my hand and put it on her neck and showed me what to do. When she wanted me to let go, she would tap my arm. But on this occasion, she wasn't able to tap his arm. The 32-year-old telling the court he did not see her face as she lapsed into unconsciousness. His defence barrister, Mark Dennis SC, said his client was extremely remorseful, stating as soon as he was aware of what happened, he called an ambulance and commenced CPR. He asked Judge Gordon Lerve to see the offending as at the very low end of the scale and therefore not requiring jail time. But the Crown prosecution argued regardless of intent, the act was inherently dangerous, exposing the victim to a high risk of serious injury and even the possibility of death. And nothing but a full custodial sentence was warranted. Judge Lerve said he needed more time to consider the submissions. The case will return to court on March 12th. Toya remains out on bail. Ryan, are you happy with how that went today?
Feeling confident?
Does the delay give you any confidence you might avoid jail time? Will Murray, 9 News.
A man has been refused bail charged in relation to the shooting murder of Bandidos senior member Shane DeBritt in January last year. Timothy Lamont was arrested at a hotel in Geary, north of Wellington, yesterday afternoon. The 28-year-old is the 11th person to be arrested over the incident. A Wollongong court has heard how blinding evening sun may have been responsible for the death of a Sydney grandfather after he was hit and killed by a car at Kiama. The accused driver, 21-year-old Grace Wheatley, broke down during today's hearing, telling police she didn't see the victim until it was too late.
Rounding a bend she drove regularly, Grace Wheatley's life changed and another was ended in a 40-metre stretch of road. 69-year-old Mark Wilson from Sutherland had just finished up at the Kiama Bowling Club when he was hit and killed by the green P-plater walking to his car.
It's a tragic incident for everybody involved. There's no winners, unfortunately, in this incident.
Charged with negligent driving occasioning death, the prosecution argued after rounding the corner on Eddy Street, the then 19-year-old allegedly continued to accelerate towards the bowling club despite having no vision of what was in front of her due to the sun in her eyes. One witness described the evening glare that day in May 2019 as the brightest she'd ever seen it. Taking the stand in Wollongong Court, crash investigators say Wheatley would have been driving blind for up to 5.5 seconds before the impact. In a police interview following the incident, Wheatley told officers all she heard was yelling and screaming and that she saw nothing of the victim before hitting him. Her lawyers arguing she did all she could to drive safely and that the road was partially obstructed by a parked flatbed truck. Wheatley sobbed as police body cam vision played in court. It will now be up to a magistrate to decide whether it was a tragic accident or a situation that could have been avoided. Her case will return for judgment next month.
All the evidence has been put before the court and we'll just wait for his determination.
James Wilson, 9 News.
Tipped to be the third largest of its kind in the state, a Bunnings is in the works for Dubbo. If approved, the building would become the centrepiece to Council's new multi-million-dollar industrial precinct.
A 100-acre heritage-listed site demolished and for the last 3 years in redevelopment works.
Council should have bought it and done something with it and used those beautiful, great big round dome things for storage, rather than demolish them. It was, it's a damn shame that happened.
But today, plans for Australia's third largest Bunnings store were unveiled for the former RAF base in Dubbo, a development application officially lodged with Council.
Most of the builders will come from Dubbo, but I'm also told that there's going to be up to 60 new positions created in Bunnings.
The proposed outlet, expected to cost $30 million, would be 17,500 square metres with a 500-space car park, and it would replace the existing Bunnings on Sheraton Road at 1.5 times larger in size. All staff relocating once it's complete.
In a bid to boost the local economy here in Dubbo, this World War II site would also accommodate about 400 new homes and an industrial precinct too.
So it's a big site and it needs big business, and there's not many businesses bigger than Bunnings.
We need people back to work. We need to be able to access things when we need them.
For 80 years, the land has held a special spot in Dubbo's landscape.
Everything these days is just progress. Everything's just progressing. The war was 60, 70 years ago. I think we've just got to move on and get on with life. Dubbo's expanding.
The DA is expected to go before council for approval later in the year. Claudia Vrdoljak, 9 News.
8 months ago, the lives of the Halliburtons changed forever. Their 4-year-old daughter, Molly, diagnosed with leukaemia. To help fund the costs of her treatment, the small community of Junee is now banding together to raise money for the family.
A sweet, energetic young girl, adored by the community.
Molly holds a very special place in a lot of people's heart in Junee.
4-year-old Molly Halliburton and her family's lives were turned upside down within a matter of hours when she was diagnosed with leukaemia last year.
A little girl being so sick, I guess everyone's heart sunk.
The family moving to Sydney permanently while Molly undergoes treatment.
We went from the Ronald McDonald House to a hotel, and now we're renting a place because Molly didn't respond to the first part of her treatment very well.
Costs that would have been a significant burden on the family had local businesses like the Junee Bakery not stepped in, donating every dollar made from these yellow cupcakes for the entire month of January straight to the Halliburton family.
Sell a couple of dozen a day maybe? No, it's gone way beyond that.
The response overwhelming owners with more than 7,000 cupcakes sold and $10,000 raised.
There was one day I think we sold like 140 dozen.
Including a handful that made it all the way to Molly in Sydney.
Makes your day knowing that what you're doing is making a difference.
It's not just these cupcakes. Other events have raised thousands for the Halliburtons, and a Magic for Molly Day is planned for March 6th.
We have a live band, we've got the most amazing stalls, we've got kids' rides, it's a fun-packed day that kind of has grown and grown and grown.
All in the name of a little girl who's captured the hearts of Junee. Bill Ormond, 9 News.
A little slice of Hollywood has made its way to Canberra after this pair of royal blue Manolo stilettos was found nestled in the shelf of a Vinnie's store in Belconnen. If you need to be reminded where you've seen these star-studded shoes before, they were made famous by Carrie Bradshaw when she slipped them on before she married Mr Big on Sex and the City. Online, these babies retail for $1,700, but a lucky ANU demographer picked them up for a bargain price of just $35. You're watching 9 News Local. Still ahead, it's been revealed just how much money speed cameras in the ACT have raised in 2020, and the numbers will make your eyes water. How one Central West woman is tackling the stigma around IVF, and the new hotel set to boost tourism and create jobs in the capital.
The superstars of tennis face off for a special one-day tennis event. The Adelaide Super Slam, Friday on 9.
Pay less every day at The Good Guys. Get $100 off this Hisense TV. This Acer Spin laptop only $379. This Dyson vac only $899. And this LG washer only $695. Pay less every day only at The Good Guys.
You know how proud I am of you. You deserve your success.
No one deserves this kind of success.
The most powerful weapon. It's not tanks or artillery. It's finance.
You do not go after a man like Dominic Morgan with a knife or a gun. You go with an army. I'm not the enemy.
An important message from the Australian government. If you see something suspicious or a crime being committed, you should turn around and walk away. Say and do absolutely nothing. Don't report anything to government authorities or police. Bernard Collaery, Witness K, David McBride, Richard Boyle, Julian Assange. All exposed crimes and now face criminal charges and jail. If you see a crime, turn around, walk away. An important message from the Australian government.
Authorised by Ian Melrose, Melbourne.
Create your forever home at the Winning Appliances Summer Renovation Sale.
We're celebrating all your renovations with an incredible range of offers from world-leading brands, including savings on selected Miele, AEG, Asco and Smeg. Plus amazing deals from Zip, Falcon and Neff. This is the final week of the sale, so hurry. Sale ends this Sunday, January 31st. Visit a Winning Appliances showroom or online today.
If you think you or a family member might need compensation for injuries suffered through medical negligence, phone us for a chat. We can sit down and talk through what's happened and what your options might be. It's no win, no fee.
Be safe these holidays. Buy 3, get 1 free. Goodyear Passenger and Dunlop Performance tyres. Up to $100 instant cashback on a huge range of great brand tyres.
All in one place. 9.com.au.
It's been revealed that one speed camera alone has raised over $1 million for the ACT government last year. The camera on the Monero Highway at Hume taking the top spot for revenue raised, followed by the Barton Highway camera between Curran Drive and Gold Creek Road. Over $11 million of fines were handed out from fixed speed cameras in 2020. With emergency departments under extreme pressure in the ACT, the government has today announced plans to relieve the pain. Millions of dollars will be invested in 4 new walk-in health centres over the next 2 years, as well as expanding the existing facilities.
Close to homes and run by nurses.
So when did this bleeding start again?
Canberra's walk-in health centres are there to help anyone with minor injuries and illnesses, both by appointment and drop-in.
We want to keep people away from our public hospitals where we can deliver services in the community.
The ACT government says the new Coombs facility is on track to open in July this year, followed by 4 more centres by 2023, providing healthcare to thousands of residents in South Tuggeranong, West Belconnen, Inner South and North Gungahlin.
Everything from diabetes, heart disease, prevention of stroke, people who have chronic illness to manage in the community, that is where we're looking at.
The already in use Western Creekside is getting a $10.9 million upgrade to include outpatient imaging services.
This will deliver ultrasound, X-ray and CT capability in a community setting.
Although walk-in health centres are designed to take pressure off our emergency departments, a new report out today reveals Canberran patients are waiting longer than anyone else in the country for urgent hospital treatment.
We have 48% of people only seen on time as opposed to the national average of 74%. That's a big shortfall. And it's not improving.
We already know that we have a lot of work to do to improve our wait times in our emergency departments.
Kimberly Keynes, 9 News.
Working hard to make Bathurst roads safer, the next stage of the Great Western Highway upgrade has officially kicked off today. 2 years in the making, the Kelso to Raglan project is expected to ease congestion when visitor numbers swell for major events like the Bathurst 1000. The project is tipped to cost $45 million and will create 150 new jobs. The centre of Canberra has been given a new look today with a world-class hotel open in the city. 9 News Local was given a sneak peek at the precinct, which is hoped to boost tourism and create jobs.
A cut to celebrate.
So very exciting.
The opening of a new hotel in the heart of Canberra.
You'll walk through the doors, it's obviously a mixed-use building in this beautiful precinct. We've got 130 accommodation rooms.
Residents can wake up to views of the lake, as the new accommodation boasts a mix of hotel-style and self-serviced rooms, which will be the centrepiece of a $300 million upgrade to Constitution Place.
Within the building, we've got Art Cafe, which opens on Monday morning, and there's some great food and beverage outlets opening up in the next couple of months.
As border restrictions ease, the hotel is hopeful travellers from around Australia will plan a trip to the nation's capital.
For tourism, we've all had a really tough year with COVID. We're hoping that with border restrictions starting to ease, we'll be able to welcome back domestic tourists first and foremost.
Management of Canberra Airport excited to see the flow-on effect of welcoming back travellers.
We see the demand continuing to pick up for travel and attraction to our lovely city, and what this hotel does is give those tourists another choice.
Once the construction of the Greater Precinct is complete, it will bring new jobs for locals.
Hospitality workers have been some of the hardest hit, and this is a great opportunity for them to work here and come back to employment.
The A by Adina Hotel will open to customers next month. Jack Hahn, 9 News.
New statistics reveal couples turning to IVF is on the rise, but the subject still remains taboo in rural areas. One mother in the Central West wants to break the stigma and change the way it's being taught in schools.
For the Rawlinson family, it hasn't been easy trying to conceive.
It was a really emotional time for us as a couple.
After 2 years, the married Ralston couple decided to turn to IVF.
It's really hard when you're battling infertility, and particularly when you don't know what's wrong.
After one cycle, they now have baby Charlie, and Rachel is 27 weeks pregnant with her next.
It's amazing to think that even though we're having them at separate times, that we've got a toddler and we're having another baby that were actually conceived at the same time.
But for her, what's worse than this is the hardship of not being able to talk about it.
We were met with some resistance, why would you need to go down that path, and also why would you talk about it?
And she's not alone.
There's still a large number of people accessing IVF services in Orange and in the Central West, absolutely.
New data showing that as 1 out of every 6 couples have difficulty conceiving, IVF is on the rise in Australia. And it's expected that by 2023, 1 in every 20 kindergarten children will be IVF babies.
Probably my most common patients are in their 30s. Mid-30s is a common age. But I will see people in their 20s.
Now wanting to get the message out in rural towns with a little help from a new book on teaching children about it.
I think that it's so important for our children, particularly those IVF babies, to know where they came from.
Claudia Vdoljak, 9 News.
Stay with us. Coming up in sport, what could be the key to the Hawks adding Illawarra back in its name? And the first Australian Open players are released from quarantine.
One by one, the most memorable brides and grooms are back.
At Coles, we're helping lower the cost of lunchboxes. With Coles tasty cheese slices down to just $6.50. And Uncle Toby's muesli bar varieties, 2 for $5. Coles, value the Australian way.
Tyre Power is Australian owned and operated since 1977, providing expert service and advice across Australia, everywhere from Jindabyne.
In the Illawarra area and Wollongong, we got you covered with 6 stores.
Stores across the south coast in Ulladulla, Narra, Jervis Bay
and Bateman's Bay.
With stores all across the ACT.
As well as Queanbeyan and Cooma.
As far south as Eden, Bega and back to Goulburn.
With over 20 stores from the south coast to the Snowy Mountains, Tyre Power has got you covered.
The Fantastic Summer event is on now. Find a fantastic new look for your home with great prices on kids' furniture, beds, sofas, dining tables and heaps more. Hurry in-store or shop online. Ends this weekend.
Pay less every day at The Good Guys. Get over $300 off this DeLonghi cooker. This Westinghouse dishwasher only $698. This Samsung top-mount fridge only $695. And these Russell Hobbs kettles and toasters $59 each. Pay less every day only at The Good Guys.
Don't run out of data this summer with Vodafone's $30 prepaid plus plan. Get a huge 40 gigabytes total data on your first 3 recharges, then infinite data to browse at speeds of up to 1.5 megabits per second until your recharge expires. You rule with Vodafone.
Window fully pinataed, Keith. Some insurers don't fix it excess-free, which could affect next year's party budget.
That's not a pinata, Dad.
But luckily, Amy has an option that does, and that's what I call a pinata. Does your home insurer offer optional excess-free glass cover? Amy does.
Right now, get 50 gigabytes of data for just $35 a month for the first 12 months, plus 3 months of Amazon Prime and Amazon Music Unlimited on us. You rule with Vodafone.
All in one place. 9.com.au.
Sponsors could be the key to bringing Illawarra back to the Hawks name. Multi-Civil and Rail, #1 draft pick and City Motor Group collectively bought 1,500 memberships to support grassroots basketball and enhance community engagement. But the owners say they won't reinstate the name until the 2021 membership goal of 4,379 is reached. It comes as the side prepares for their clash with the Taipans tonight. The first group of Australian Open players and officials are set to leave their Melbourne hotels today after serving mandatory quarantine. Meanwhile, Canberra's Nick Kyrgios says he's glad to be back in Melbourne ahead of appearing in an ATP lead-up tournament.
Excited to be back in Melbourne and excited about what the next 3 weeks might unfold.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Super excited to be back in Melbourne and get ready to compete again.
Yeah, it's been a long time since you've been on the court. You feel like your game's up to shape?
Yeah, I feel good. I'll just take it day by day, mate.
The first two WTA 500 events begin on Sunday. Ahead on 9 News Local, all your weather details.
A star-studded Aussie lineup will take on the world's biggest game show. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Monday.
Pay less every day at The Good Guys. Get $100 off this Hisense TV. This Acer Spin laptop only $379. This Dyson vac only $899. And this LG washer only $695. Pay less every day only at The Good Guys.
Rock your back to school at FSW. Save on Grosby and Lotto leather school shoes from $59.99 and selected kids joggers from $39.99 and Rock and Clark school shoes 20% off recommended retail price at all FSW stores and online.
Light is an elixir.
Yet light is also a trickster. Light fans the flames of the heart.
Or snuffs it out before it starts. Light fuels your get up and go.
And also lets you take it slow.
Light is inspired, admired, desired.
Watson Blinds and Awnings. Over 50 years mastering the power of light.
Right now, get 50 gigabytes of data for just $35 a month for the first 12 months, plus 3 months of Amazon Prime and Amazon Music Unlimited on us. You rule with Vodafone.
All done, Luke? Just a few more minutes. All done, Luke? Just a few more minutes. All done, Luke?
Just a few more minutes, Mum. Wonder, full of goodness.
Scott Morrison, Christian Porter, Josh Frydenberg. Explain to Australians why your Liberal government has not prosecuted the past Howard Liberal government members of the National Security Committee of Cabinet who apparently authorised the illegal bugging of the Timorese cabinet. Bernard Collaery and Witness K, who exposed the truth, are the only people charged. Morrison, Porter, Frydenberg. Are you involved in an organised crime cover-up by not charging the Howard government members who authorised the illegal bugging? Please explain. Authorised by Ian Melrose, Melbourne. All in one place. 9.com.au.
From one extreme to another, it's now time to catch up with Gavin Morris with the latest weather details.
Good evening. We're in for some wild weather. It has already begun. Storms moving in across the Riverina and starting to build across the Tablelands as well. And there's plenty more to come. This is a moisture-laden system diving down from the northwest as they do. It's going to sweep in across the entire southeast. Victoria is going to be hit. Southern New South Wales and the capital too will see some significant rain as it moves in and towards the southeast corner of New New South Wales reaching the coast. So it is going to be overcast and potentially we'll see some heavy falls over the southwest slopes and the Riverina. Widespread rain for all, and it's going to be quite cool underneath this cover of cloud. So the worst part areas are likely to be from the Riverina up to about Forbes, Parks. South of Parks, that is where the heavy rain is going to be, and out towards the west as well. North of, we're going to see some limited falls, mostly partly cloudy skies, so that is where the majority of that northwest feed will move in. We'll see some moderate falls also move in over the Blue Mountains, and limited numbers, but it is going to be overcast for the tablelands with temperatures maxing out in the low to mid-20s. So warmer around Dubbo and the central west plains, but we are going to see cooler conditions underneath that thicker layer of cloud as that band sweeps in across southern New South Wales and the capital. So take care. Good night.
Quite the change. Thanks, Gavin. That's 9 News Local for this Thursday. Peter Overton's up next. I'm Natassia Soper. Enjoy your evening. Good night.